Women who hover over a public toilet seat to urinate because it's dirty usually end up leaving urine all over the seat and not cleaning it up, thus creating the problem they thought they were avoiding. What other amazing lapses in simple logic annoy you? You need to let people out of the train or bus before there is space for you to get in. Who would have thought? There are a ton of people in NYC that need to learn this. People in relationships where they're constantly fighting, don't trust each other, try to control each other's social lives, etc. Then complain about it and how miserable they are. I see a light turn red ahead and lift off the gas, coasting down to it. Butthole behind me mashes the horn, swerves around me, and blows by. 2 seconds later he has to slam his brakes and come to a screeching stop for the red light. Happens on a regular basis, and I just don't understand what possesses people to be in such a hurry to stop. One local pub has a light drinker special, where half pints are about 1/3 the price of a full pint, and their pitchers cost more than the same number of pints do. It's like reverse buying in bulk. Those of us who can do math go and drink quantities of half pints, and laugh at the people buying pitchers. It turns out to be about $4 more expensive to get a pitcher than an equivalent amount of half pints. And, of course, the pitcher is just one type of beer. Able-bodied people who will circle around and around the parking lot to get a closer space, spending way more time than it would to park far away and walk in. My mom used to do this when I was a kid to the point that I'd be able to hop out, walk into the store, and start shopping while she was still out there circling. Drove me nuts. Likewise, my grandparents were of the school that would drive 30 miles plus out of the way to save a few cents a gallon on gas and hated it when I pointed out they burned so much gas that they were effectively burning away whatever they saved. Because goddammit it is cheaper by 3 whole cents a gallon. I actually do this weird thing where I intentionally park far away, even if there are closer spots, just to condition myself to be more patient. My mother cleans the house before she has her cleaning people come over to clean it because she doesn't want them to see that it's dirty. On a 2-lane road with a temporary passing zone, if the person in front of you has been going 10 miles per hour under the speed limit, they will inevitably speed up to stop you from passing them 90% of the time. Drives me insane. People who attempt to merge with traffic traveling 55-70 miles per hour on a highway while going 35-45 miles per hour on the ramp. If you try to merge with traffic going 20 plus mph faster than you, you're going to have a bad time. Even worse is being stuck behind someone trying to do this, which forces me to have to drive slow and attempt to merge and get away from them. My dad told me something when he was teaching me to drive. He said the on-ramp was like a plane taking off. You use it to gain enough speed to fly, merge. It's stuck with me ever since. Every time I end up behind a person driving slowly in the fast lane, I'll switch to the slower lane, if I can, and try to pass them. Inevitably, they will speed up in what I can only assume is an attempt to prevent my passing them. If I end up being unable to pass, and am forced to get behind them again, they resume their previous slow speed. I just don't get it. I see this all the time and have dubbed it speed envy. People who think using their turn signal will make others want to box them in and force them off the road to their untimely deaths. What they don't realize is that after they merge without their turn signal, the thing keeping me from wishing actual malice towards them is gone. In Seattle, the interstate turns into a 1-lane clusterfuck going northbound through downtown. I don't think the people that planned this city expected it to grow beyond 50,000 people. People on roads are just generally stupid. I live in the Pittsburgh area and most of our traffic congestion is due to the fact that people throw on their brakes before entering the tunnels, for no reason. You finally get through and it's often totally clear. It's not like the lanes shrink people. Anecdotally, I have always sat on a toilet seat in public restrooms, unless there is an unbelievable mess on it and there is no other option, and I have yet to get any form of crotch rot. Your skin does serve a valuable purpose. I was in the right lane on a 2-lane highway yesterday, and there was a guy driving about 10 feet or so behind me. I turned on my turn signal to switch lanes, and upon seeing that, the guy decides to speed up and go around me as fast as he can. If I hadn't turned back at the last second, I would have run him off the road. Or worse, he could have just waited 5 seconds and then sped up without having to leave the lane. But that would involve not being a dickhead. My store does not have an item in stock that you want, because everyone else has got there first and bought them all. So you scream at me, what the heck am I going to do? Pull more of the stock out of my ass? But everyone knows the back is a magical place that holds extras of everything. I feel your pain. Retail sucks. At least 50% of the people that sit next to me at a stoplight will do at least one false start or creep up, and yet when it's actually time to go, they are the slowest M off the line ever. I just don't understand the logic here, and I see this happen constantly, every single day. Can someone explain this concept to me? I can understand it if someone creeps up because they weren't competent enough to stop within 20 feet of the car ahead of them, a different sort of WTF. But the ones where they obviously do it to gain some sort of retard level strategic advantage boggles my mind. Women who are too afraid to fart poop in their stalls while someone else is in the bathroom, so they sit on their toilet silently and wait for you to leave. This happens every time I use the bathrooms at my school and it's so weird. Granted, I'm really not interested in listening to you take a crap, but it's way more strange that you're silently listening to me pee. Then you have the awkward standoff where neither of you wants to crap and you both know it. I don't vote because politicians never do what we say. I don't try dating or going out because I'm unhappily single. I don't go running because I'm too fat. I hate this brand of thinking. I eat because I'm sad, and I'm sad because I eat. It's a vicious cycle. When I was a kid and would go to the bathroom, I hated lifting the seat so much. I would just pee and splash on it without worrying about it. Then I would take toilet paper and wipe down the seat before lifting it up a little bit with my foot and letting it slam back down, and then I would flush it. The idea was that to my brothers and sisters it would sound like I had the lid up the whole time. Then I would wash my hands and leave. I did this every time I took a pee for a good 8 years. I have no idea what was wrong with me. The same people who insist that their habit of not picking up after themselves creates jobs for someone else are often the ones who pee and moan about the cost of that job being passed on to them. Best examples are movie theater prices. Your $8 popcorn is that expensive to pay for some kid to sweep it up off the floor in 2 hours. All I know is the majesty and classy status of women evaporated when I had to start cleaning women's bathrooms. Women's bathrooms are so much worse than men's bathrooms. I work at a concession stand in a touristy area, and I have grown so bitter by the stupid crap I have to deal with daily. The way people feel entitled is just ridiculous. Where have they learned it? From the customer is always right is my guess. One of the worst lapses in logic common sense is the alarmingly large number of people who don't bother reading the menu or prices before ordering when they have been waiting in line for 10 minutes and had plenty of time to look and decide. No, please go ahead and ask me the price of every single item on the menu, and then get mad at me because the prices are high when the goddamn sign has been right in front of your face the whole time. Tell me I should be ashamed of the prices, because certainly I am the one who benefits from them on my minimum wage pay. Oh, take another 5 minutes to ask every member of your family what they want. Be some more about the prices, and then be sure to ask the little kids over and over again what they want instead of just making the decision for them, because hey, who cares about the crowd of people waiting behind you who will take their anger out on me, then get mad at me that we don't accept bills larger than 20s even though it is stated clearly on the sign. Please throw your money at me, because handing it to me would be below you. Oh, we don't have straws and cups because we sell bottled drinks? Make certain you throw another tantrum because I am literally worse than Hitler. And while all this is happening, there is certainly someone in the line who has grown impatient and started harassing the other workers because God forbid they have to wait any longer. It doesn't matter that we can only have one cashier at a time and can only take one order at a time. All the workers must be lazy and incompetent. This happens so many times a day I am just convinced at least half the human population never learned common courtesy or common sense. TLDR. People not reading the menu so they know what they're getting into, and having at least the barest idea of their order ready before they get to the cashier, especially if they've been waiting in full view of the menu signs for 10 minutes. Guys, WHOP all over the toilet at work when there is a urinal right fricking next to IT. Just fricking take 2 steps to the left and continue P for fricking frick. Sorry, that has really been bugging me. That lowercase p has been cracking me up for a while now. I'm just picturing you yelling the entire sentence, but suddenly whispering when you get to P. When people complain about being out of shape, it's more of a humble brag. I hate these stairs. I'm so out of shape. Here's a common conversation. Ugh, I'm so out of shape. You should take up jogging, or bike riding, or yoga. I could never do those things. I'm so out of shape. I do those things, and I used to be in worse shape than you. Yeah, but it's easy for you. Look how good of shape you're in. Of course you're into jogging. I could never do it. Urge to kill. Rising. Of course, what people want is a pity party, not advice. When people do the "oh, I'm out of shape" thing while climbing stairs, what they really mean is I'm out of shape, but it doesn't bother me enough to get me to do what's necessary to fix it. However, this particular activity has forced me to think about how out of shape I am, which I don't enjoy doing. 1. Washing dishes. Not just rinsing, but washing, and then putting them in the dishwasher. 2. Rubbing a dog's nose in his own excrement hours after the fact, and expecting him to know exactly why you're doing that. 3. Not allowing your significant other to hang out with certain people for fear that they will cheat. If they're going to cheat, they are going to cheat. Being a controlling douche canoe isn't going to fix a dang thing about your relationship. 4. Yelling in order to resolve personal disagreements. 5. This one's personal, but I live with a guy who has a trash can right next to his bed. Every month, the entire area around his bed is covered in empty wrappers and napkins and bottles, which he be incessantly about being told to clean up. There are ants and roaches everywhere because of it. The trash can remains empty month after month. What the frick? Serious question here. I am a guy. If I sit down on the public toilet to chuck a dump and the tip of my dong touches the seat spot under the seat toilet bowl, you know the place, can I get a urinary tract infection from that? No, but your dong will have touched every other dong by the transitive property. This just makes me think of drug prohibition. Drugs cause crime and public health issues, so let's outlaw them all, creating a lucrative black market, crime, and unregulated quality potency, public health issues. It was easier to get acid, weed, coke, H, and PCP in high school than it was to get beer. I don't understand why people think legalization and regulation would make things worse. I hate it when somebody leaves me a voicemail that essentially just says "call me, B, what did you think I was going to do when I saw a missed call from you? Send a carrier pigeon?" People that leave their shopping carts next to their cars instead of putting them in the Corolla are taking them back inside. I have friends whom every time they go camping, bring an arsenal of guns with them, not to a gun range, but just in case other people bring guns on their camping trip. This is a widely used rule apparently. My rule when camping is to bring a 12 gauge. If you bring multiple guns just for protection, you are either an idiot, or you need to find a better place to camp. People that bring babies to movie theaters, and people that bring small cars to pick up large items at hardware stores. Example, people bringing their Toyota Prius to pick up a full-size barbecue. Crazy men who build TP nests on the toilet. The next guy pisses all over the TP and the third guy can't use the toilet. Dang germophobes. I can somewhat understand creating a toilet paper nest in a really dirty public place when you need to sit down, but I don't think I've ever seen one left there after they're finished. I just assumed everyone flushed it after they were done. People who skip class to make up previously missed classes. You think it's helpful, but really you're still an equal amount behind. This works when some classes are more skippable than others, like if they teach stuff that's mostly in the textbook or they put the lectures slides online and mostly teach from those. Yep, I'm way late to this thread, but I have to admit to this stupid thing I do. I leave my car windows open on nice days. When the need arises to grab something from inside the car, I'll lean through the window to grab it. The problem is, the object of my desire is just out of reach. Instead of simply opening the door and grabbing said crap, I teeter, legs in the air, raking my abdomen, trying to pinch the object between my two longest fingers, tickling it and crushing my guts. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I gotta open the door, but every time this happens, I walk away thinking how freaking easy it would have been to have given up sooner or to never even have tried to reach it through the window in the first place. There it is, for no one to read. I feel better having released this fitting stupidity into the endless memory of Reddit. I have actually been in a stall next to a hovering woman who proceeded to urinate on the floor and her foot. Just sit down. BTCH. When English speaking tourists first try to communicate with the locals in English, then, upon seeing the person they are talking to doesn't speak English, the tourist will speak English louder. The volume isn't a universal language. People ahead of me who decide to be nice and stop to let someone turn left across the lane when there's no one else behind me. If it's a long line of traffic, then fine. But if it's just one or two cars behind you, you're not doing anyone any favors. In the amount of time everyone stops, the turning party gets the idea and turns, and traffic starts to flow again. We all could have gone by and they'd have turned with no issue. You haven't saved anyone any time. You've just transferred it to the people behind you. Use your mirrors, people. Germophobic people that use their dirty foot shoe to open doors, flush toilets, etc., thereby spreading the crap on the feet directly onto the surfaces that other people touch, thereby increasing the likelihood that everyone gets sick. Buttholes. Basically the same thing. People put way too much toilet paper in the toilet, making it clogged up. I think it's maybe cause they took a massive dump and they're trying to hide it, but how does that logic make sense? It's clogged, don't clog it more. I hate people that cannot fathom the speed limit in residential neighborhoods. In most cases it is 30. They think because there are no signs posted, it's go as fast as you want. When Iron Man traveled through time to warn people of an impending disaster, then got frustrated at their disbelief to the point where he went nuts and thus became that disaster. That isn't a lapse in logic. The women that pee on the seat don't have to sit in it. Ergo, pee avoided, regardless of the next woman's circumstance. I work at a fast food restaurant and I notice all the time how people in drive-thru want the cars in front of them to hurry along so they can get their food quickly, yet when they pull up to the window, they end up doing things that make their time at the window longer. Thus, they lack the consideration that they expect everyone in front of them to have. This may have been said, but that Republicans cry about the number of welfare babies yet do everything they can to limit the population's access to contraceptives and Planned Parenthood. That the Republicans wave a flag of fiscal conservatism while increasing our bloated and fruitless military budget. Also along this line of thought, being pro-life and supporting cuts to WIC, women, infants, and children. I just don't get it. When I lived in Atlanta, all of my rich, suburb friends would talk about how bad the MATA, public transportation i.e. buses and subway, was in terms of cleanliness, safety, etc. Specifically they would talk about how the black people trash the stations and the train's buses. When I started taking the subway and bus as an alternative to driving, I found that this wasn't at all true. In fact, the only time the buses and train stations would get trashed, become unsafe was when there was 1. A baseball game, 2. A concert, or 3. Some other kind of event where people from outside of downtown Atlanta would come down and destroy the place. And most of these people are white. P.S. Is this the first post that's actually a real lapse in logic rather than just a B session? When women complain about flashy doucher bags and then go out and hang out with them, and then they have douchy children who wear the same clothes and do the same crap but to an even more extreme extent because those trays are now attractive and their tail plumage is now so unwieldy that they are now an encumbrance and predators can more easily find them and goddammit fishery and run away. Peacocks are doucher bags. It's not a lapse in logic because they will not have to deal with it. It's a lapse in basic human kindness empathy. Personally, I think these women are sociopaths. If you are a guy about to get engaged, I suggest you find a way to check that your future wife doesn't do this. Exclusion criteria right there. It's actually a design flaw. Squatting toilets would likely eliminate this issue. Plus, you wouldn't need those wasteful seat covers. People who throw or don't mind when other people throw cigarette butts on the street, but B when other types of trash are thrown on the street. It's the same thing. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.